Peace. For those of you who may not know me, or know me especially well, my name is Armand Chitani. I was asked by Pastor Terry 2 weeks ago to share my perspective on Easter with you. And for some context and some background as to why he would ask me specifically, I hail from an interfaith household. This means that my mom is a Chinese Christian woman, and my dad is an Indian Muslim man. Which means that I am a fragile, complex conglomeration of both.
Hallelujah.
Also known as a mess. Big old hunting mess. It also means that as a family, our dinner conversations can be really, really long and quite the headache for any unsuspecting guests. I'm so sorry, Pastor Terry. So, I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this. I'm here to provide you with my interfaith perspective on Easter and what Easter means to me. Now, as a kid, Easter meant uncomfortable clothes for a Sunday, going to church with my cousins, and then afterwards going to brunch with my grandma, where we'd have to face down that traumatizingly large Easter bunny. Its eyes were so cold. Good times. As I've grown up, Easter has become a little bit more complex, as my understanding of my faith has grown to be more complex. As a Christian, we believe that Jesus died on the cross, that he died for our sins, saving us so that we would never die, and instead have everlasting life through Christ Jesus. But as a Muslim, we believe that God, Allah, would never let Jesus die in such a violent way like it was when he was crucified. How can we believe in a merciful Allah when he would do that to one of his most beloved prophets? And fun fact, Jesus is actually mentioned in the Quran 5 times more than Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Because, like, timing-wise, I don't know. Check it out. But that's kind of confusing, especially for someone like me who has to juggle both. So I have to start thinking. Because we as Muslims say that God would never let Jesus die. And then as Christians, we say that Jesus had to die for our sins. And it's kind of the foundational principle of the Christian faith. So then after a whole bunch of thought over the past 2 weeks, I kind of came to realize that there's a sticking point here. Social psychology teaches that while we can recognize difference, we should really look at the significance of those differences. There is one thing that stands out between both of these faiths, and that is the concept of Jesus' death. Well, so what does it mean when we say that Jesus died? True, from objectively, how are we looking at it? As per Merriam-Webster, the God of words, death is defined as the permanent cessation of all vital function and the end of life. Ergo, no more breathing, no more heartbeat. And when I kind of started thinking about it this way, I realized that sounds a little mortal to me. Actually, that's exactly what mortal means. Now, as a Christian, we believe that Christ is mortal, and very importantly, he is infused with the power of God. He is the embodiment of God on earth. He is mortal, but he is also divine. So why would we attribute this mortal definition of death to Jesus Christ? And as Christians, we know Jesus' story did not end on that day on the cross. The Apostles' Creed says that he descended into hell, where he paid retribution for our sins, and on the third day he rose again. So, Jesus was busy. That doesn't sound too dead to me. So, when we take a step back, this means we're not really contradicting what Islam says, right? Remember, in Islam, we believe that God would never let Jesus die, for he is too merciful. So, I realized that I might have found a proper bridge here. Jesus did die on that cross. The guard proved it. So in a Christian sense, the prophecy was fulfilled. But in his divine being, Jesus remains. So the Islamic perspective still holds water. Now I realize that was a lot, kind of. So I'm playing around with the largest tenet of the Christian faith. And I completely respect and understand if throughout this you decided to stop following along. I understand. But I'm going to do one thing this Easter. Then I would like to impart on you the first command of the Quran. Iqra. Read. Read in the name of thy Lord. Which means to learn. To think outside of your metaphorical box. I found this bridge in resurrection for myself and my family to reconcile the differences between these uber complex systems of faith. To play within this space because I have the wherewithal to learn and to research. And that's something I would like to do with you this year. Take advantage of God's gift to learn for yourself, to explore. Poke holes so that you can get a larger view of the majesty of God's creation. When you poke those holes, you get the smallest taste of just the smallest iota of a taste of what this truly means in its great magnitude. But in doing so, it brings you closer to your faith and to God. This personal philosophy of mine is to continue to ask questions and to learn. It's what brings me closer to my faith and what helps me juggle these two faiths. So, this Easter, I challenge you to do just that. Read. Read in the name of thy Lord. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thanks be to God.